So City second, who's first, Adam?
Manchester United. We're going to take a little bit of a lead and we're never going to look back.
As an Arsenal fan, I've seen my fair share of disappointments, especially in the past few years. However, nothing compares to the 2 seasons where we finished 8th, because I felt something worse than disappointment. I felt nothing. That's something I don't think I'd wish on any football fan, even those that support Manchester United. So from someone looking from the outside in at that club, I'm sure that all of those fans are feeling that emptiness because that club is in shambles right now. We'll mostly be talking about all of the results that's happened thus far, but it's impossible to ignore all of the things piling up off of the pitch. First, you have the horrible handling of Greenwood, the statement from United being as pathetic as the player himself. And before anyone says, oh, you're an Arsenal fan, what about Partey? Yeah, no, I don't want him playing either. It's almost as if we should not be playing these people. Oh my god. You have Antony in a similar situation. You have Ten Hag beefing with Sancho, resulting in the banishment of a £100 million player that they sought after for 2 years. I mean, the man was playing pro clubs while his team was playing Bayern Munich. How much more wild can it be than that? The owners, the Glazers, are hated by everyone under the sun, and then you have Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans closing out a game as your main defenders against one of your biggest rivals when the score is level. I mean, what the fuck? While the club is struggling to deal with all of these things off of the pitch, the results on the pitch are not doing them any favors. 2 wins and 3 losses from their 5 games in the league and currently sitting in 13th. And in the Champions League, they just had to play Bayern Munich, which, I mean, a 4-3 result, but they were not really in the game. And look, I'm trying to keep my biases aside here, alright? But their 2 wins were not very convincing in the Premier League either. Their first game against Wolves, a club who could be in a relegation battle this year, ended in a very nervy 1-0 win because Wolves attackers couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. And in the off chance that they actually did keep it on target, Onana was on his game from making good saves and blackmailing the refs before the match. How the hell is this not a penalty? But don't worry, Wolves fans, karma got back at those United players because that penalty call against Eriksen against Bayern was, questionable. Their other win came against Nottingham Forest, who are actually not too bad of a team, and I'm not just saying that because Arsenal narrowly beat them in their opening game. They're pretty good. They're all right. They're okay. However, when you're a team like Manchester freaking United playing at home at Old Trafford, this game should be an easy win on paper. Now, as an Arsenal fan, I can't really talk about a team conceding early, but to see it happen to someone else, especially a rival, it's fantastic. It's hilarious, actually. United did very well to come back. However, they needed a red card and a very soft penalty in order to beat this Nottingham Forest team 3-2. Nothing was convincing about that win. By the way, there was a miss of the season candidate with Casemiro putting this wide, but you'll see more of that later. Now, their 3 losses in the league came against 3 pretty damn good teams: Arsenal away, Tottenham away, and Brighton at home. Yes, I know I just called Spurs a good team. I know it sucks. It hurts me to say that. However, I do actually really like Big Ange a lot, and I think they could cause a decent amount of problems this year, especially with not being in Europe. So for Tottenham, who are under the new manager bounce, and for United, who have not beaten a top 6 club away since October 30th, 2021 against Tottenham, it's not going to go well, is it? Now, if you watched the match, you would know that United actually probably deserved a point from this. They had 3 very good chances, but just like Casemiro against Nottingham Forest, they scuffed all of them. All 3. How? How do you miss any of these? All of them. How? Those striker woes that have been there since RVP left have been very apparent these last 2 years, but Martial, that Ballon d'Or, I'm sure for sure he'll come through. Now, against Arsenal, United had one of their more pragmatic performances. They knew that they couldn't just go to the Emirates and play toe-to-toe, so they tried to sit back and hit them on the counter, which they did. However, in standard United fashion, they immediately conceded after scoring this, something that's had been happening a lot. Did you watch the Bayern game? Yeah, exactly. There were a few cries for penalties that honestly seemed pretty harsh not to be called, but we've seen those go unpunished countless of times. Some United fans expose themselves for not knowing how visual perception works. You can't use your phone to draw lines. Oh, let me just, on my little iPhone, that's better than the technology on the field. Oh yeah, 100%. United's attack was impotent besides that one counterattack from Rashford's goal, and it resulted in a last-minute winner for Arsenal to end 2-1. Wait, no, hang on. Sorry, my bad. 3-1. Now, I said before that this was one of United's more pragmatic performances. They knew what they were getting into, they had a game plan, and they did it fairly well for a large portion of the game. However, I think it was apparent that Arsenal were far from their best, and it was more so the fact that Arsenal were holding themselves back rather than United putting up an actually good fight. These were the stats from the game: a fairly in-control performance from an Arsenal side that didn't get out of second gear, and a relatively okay performance from a United side that should be expecting better as a club. When this is deemed as an okay performance, especially from a club like Manchester United, there are major problems. And finally, against Brighton, all of those problems swelled up and exploded right in Manchester United's face. They hadn't beaten Brighton in the league since May of 2022, and they followed it up with another extremely lackluster performance. To make things worse, their former player Danny Welbeck opened the scoring against them, and I'm not sure how United fans feel about him, but it's never fun to see a former player score against you. Again, as an Arsenal fan, I know the feeling. United thought they had an equalizer, but the ball was deemed just out of play. Again, another very, very tight call going against them, and Brighton soon punished them 2 more times with only a consolation goal to add for United. Maybe they should just put McTominay up front with Højlund. They got 2nd and 3rd in the Euro qualification goals with 6. I mean, at this point, it can't hurt, right? Here's the thing. As an Arsenal fan, I obviously, very clearly hate Manchester United, probably more than these guys. However, I also deeply respect their success on the field because they are not only the most successful English club, but probably the 3rd most successful, if not popular club around the world behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. So Manchester United fans, I don't want to see your club like this. At least maybe like you could like a little longer, that'd be a little funny, but like overall, I don't want to see that because I want it to be a competition between us. I want it to be competitive because I don't just want to beat you. I want to battle it out every single year from the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League. That way we can rip it from you in the most heartbreaking style possible, just like City did to you. That's what I want. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Unfortunately, for that type of rivalry to happen, both teams have to be competitive on the pitch and have a tightly ran ship off of it. And at the moment, United's ship is sinking slowly. But, just think, United fans, it could be worse. You could be Chelsea fans.